Metabolic syndrome and type 2 diabetes represent a systemic breakdown where sugar-laden blood strains the liver, taxes the pancreas, and clogs the entire vascular network. For years, researchers have studied a bright yellow plant compound called berberine, often comparing its effects to the pharmaceutical metformin. Standard medical logic suggests that for this compound to heal internal organs, it must flood the bloodstream and interact directly with human cells. This diagram tracks a standard oral dose. Less than 1% successfully crosses the intestinal barrier into the bloodstream. The remaining 99% stays trapped inside the intestinal canal. By traditional pharmacological standards, a compound failing to enter the blood is effectively inert. This low bioavailability prevents berberine from acting like an ordinary pill. Instead, it functions as a coordinator, remaining in the gut to engage the trillions of microbes that trigger a body-wide metabolic response. The gut microbiome functions as an active biochemical workshop rather than a simple digestive tube. Within this environment, berberine finds a highly specialized microbial workforce. Friendly bacteria deploy nitroreductase enzymes to interact with the trapped compound, physically altering the berberine molecule. This temporary form, dihydroberberine, slips through the gut wall 5 times faster. Once in the blood, it reverts to active berberine, traveling to the liver. This smuggling allows a potent, functional dose to reach its target, without requiring massive amounts of the compound to flood the entire system at once. The majority of the berberine remains in the gut cavity, where it acts as a fertilizer for beneficial fiber-eating microbes. As these specific microbes ferment dietary fibers, they release small organic signaling molecules known as short-chain fatty acids, specifically acetate, propionate, and butyrate. This flowchart tracks the chemical relay. The fatty acids hit gut wall receptors, triggering a signal pulse of the hormone GLP-1. This hormone travels to tell the pancreas to release insulin, and the liver to stop producing sugar. This remote control system reverses insulin resistance and clears glucose from the blood, achieving these results while the plant compound itself remains localized in the gut. A weak gut wall allows harmful bacteria to leak a toxic molecule called LPS into the blood. This causes metabolic endotoxemia, a state of constant low-grade irritation that damages insulin receptors throughout the body. Rather than acting as a broad-spectrum antibiotic that destroys the entire microbiome, berberine selectively suppresses only these toxic LPS-producing bacteria. It also feeds a protective partner called Akkermansia, which prompts the gut to secrete a thick mucus shield. At the same time, it boosts tight junction proteins that act like staples, physically locking the intestinal cells together. By securing the intestinal perimeter, berberine cuts off the source of systemic inflammation and protects insulin receptors from toxic damage. The liver and gut communicate through primary bile acids, which the liver drops into the intestine to aid in fat digestion. Berberine limits the ability of gut microbes to convert these into secondary bile acids, creating a shift in the local chemical balance. This altered bile acid pool interacts with cellular sensors that signal the liver to deploy microscopic vacuums called LDL receptors. These receptors pull bad cholesterol directly out of the blood. This microbial translation turns local digestive fluids into a systemic instruction that clears the blood and protects the heart. While effective, berberine's antimicrobial properties can temporarily fatigue the very bacteria it relies on to function. The PROMOTE trial shows adding live probiotics to berberine causes a significantly steeper drop in insulin resistance than berberine alone. At the molecular level, it prompts these probiotics to capture and trap free fatty acids within their membranes. This teamwork lowers fat absorption and resolves insulin resistance more effectively than the plant compound could achieve on its own. Human metabolism functions as an integrated ecology. Berberine acts as a coordinator, but its clinical success relies on its ability to empower the microscopic partners living within the body.